Hello and welcome everyone. This is Mark coming to you on Sunday, July the 13th at 2:08. Just before the Germany-Argentina game, wanted to give you the quick weekly market rundown, which I'm going to be doing every week just to give myself an idea of what's happened over the last week and what's coming and what to expect over the coming week. So last week, the Feds released their minutes from the June meeting, in which they announced that they were looking to put an end to the QE in October, and they had very little mention on the interest rates. So it looks like the interest rates are staying where they are for the short term, and we might see quantitative easing if the economy stays in its current state, and that is bullish right now. So how are the indices looking? The Dow Jones looking pretty good. Bullish uptrend still here. You can see that Thursday was a kind of a throw off day. The market opened about $1 and change down and was bought back up, closed on its highs. And on Friday, you can see that we closed green above the trend line. So still looking good on the Dow Jones, Nasdaq's. Again, you can see that it broke out of the resistance here around the 95 level, made a high at 95.71, came back down in here into the 95 to test the breakout, and then you can see it just bounced right back off. And if I can show you the volume, you can see that we had some pretty nice volume into these days. So still bullish on the Nasdaq side as well. We've got a lot of earnings coming up, a busy week of earnings coming up for the Nasdaqs, for some of the big tech giants. We've got Intel and Yahoo with earnings coming out on Tuesday, eBay with earnings coming out on Wednesday, and Google coming out with earnings on Thursday. It's also going to be a busy week for the banks, for the financial sector. Some of the big names have earnings coming out. JP Morgan and Goldman earnings on Tuesday. Bank of America has earnings released on Wednesday, and Morgan Stanley has earnings released on Thursday. So we're looking into this SPY. Here we are. So you can see, again, Thursday was our throw-off day. We made new highs last week, end of last week, and you can see coming into this week, we just gave them back. You can see we've held the $196 level here. You can see 2 days of giving back profits. You can see some heavy volume coming into here, bounce off of the 196, close above the 197, and then the Thursday was just a curveball, opened up about $1 and change under, bought back, closed in near the highs, and again Friday, huge volume coming in, showing support for the buying right off of the 196 level. And you can see here we closed near the highs as well, so you can see that we might be coming back and trying to test the highs in the coming weeks here on the SPY. So looking bullish onto this one. The Russell 2000, however, this one is giving a sign of concern here. If you look at the trend line here, this was broken. Whoops. Over here on Tuesday. So you can see Monday we tested the uptrend. On Tuesday we gapped down. Okay, so we gapped down and closed under it. Couldn't close under the 116 support. Again, came into here. Couldn't close under it. Thursday we gapped down. Bought back into the 116 support. 116.05 was our high, but we couldn't close above this. And again, Friday, high of 116, so we couldn't close above the 116. So this might be a sign of concern over here. So judging by the other three indices, we're bullish on this, and this one has a sign of bearish concern, but we might see a bounce here. This is a small couple of days that were given back profits here, and you can see that there was a high volume coming into this doji. So this might signal the end of the bounce, or rather the end of the downtrend, and we might see a green bounce if the 116 level is penetrated and broken. next week. So that's what we're looking for over here. On earnings watch, we have Google, Intel. So all of them played pretty similarly. You can see we have a small short-term uptrend coming in. There we are. So last couple of days, you can see we gave back some profits. Bounced on Thursday off of the uptrend support, open higher, and then we closed right under 580. So Google's got the earnings on Thursday, so we'll see how the price reacts coming into Thursday. Intel, again, we had a gap up back in mid-June. Nice rally. You can see Wednesday we kind of didn't gap down. We gapped up on Wednesday. Didn't really have much price action here. Then on Thursday, that was that big gap down. We bought back in, almost made new highs here. This was 31.36, 31.33, almost made new highs. Next day, again, not much price action, just a doji. So we'll see how the earnings comes. The earnings on Intel is on Tuesday, so we'll see what happens with this guy. Yahoo as well, we have earnings on Tuesday. Let's look at Yahoo here. Yahoo's trading more of a channel here. We've got, see some rising highs, but nothing really significant. Then we've got some of the price action coming down into here. So that's what we're looking like right now on Yahoo. We've got some overhead resistance right up in here, and then some support right down in there. So we've got earnings coming out on Tuesday. Nice big green candle with some volume pushing us towards the top of the range. So we'll see if we can see a breakout on this if earnings is good. And finally, we have eBay. Again, you can see if you zoom out a bit that we have small uptrend establishing here. As you can see, we made some lows at 48.14. Swing high, pulled back into the trend, bounced right off of the resistance, came again, made a higher high, came back down, made a higher low. This was Thursday, and then you can see Friday we gapped up, and then we just ripped, closed on the 51.5 on high volume. So that's looking all right. I'd like to see again with earnings, we'd probably see a test of the 52. If earnings is good, we might see a gap fill back up into this 53.50 area. So that's what I'm looking for in relation to the tech earnings. Bank earnings move really slow, so not really looking towards that. We have American Apparel, which was on the watch list last week. You can see I've drawn in some of the support and resistance. So you can see here, once it broke 0.08, attracted right to that $1 magnet, couldn't break it, retraced back to the original breakout point. You can see it was making higher lows here. Then on Thursday, broke out into over the $1 level. That's where I looked at it in here. And then on Friday, again, it gapped up, hit 120, and just kind of consolidated all day. So I bought in here at 118. Tried buying in at 110, got my, or 111, got my fill, but I got stopped out around 109 on one candle, and right after that it literally ripped to 120. So what can you do? It happens. But I'm back in at 118, holding over the weekend, so hoping for a move here. You can see that it's got huge volume, historic volume right here, historic breaking volume right there into this move. So a lot of good news, a lot of things lining up for American Apparel, so this is definitely something to watch into the next week. I'm hoping for a push into the 150s if all goes well. Looking for a hold of the $1 price line to maintain a bullish sentiment on the chart. Apple, again, earnings in a couple of weeks, but you can see here on Friday it did break out of the small channel resistance over here on high volume. This is the 5-minute chart, so let me zoom out. onto the one day chart. As you can see here, it was just kind of consolidating here in the channel. Broke out, retraced back into it, couldn't break out again. Broke out here, but you can see that we've got a Doji on here with some pretty heavy volume. So we'll see what happens on Monday. I'll take the first 15 minutes and go from there with Apple. We've got Verizon, which made a nice move that I wanted to see, which I pointed out to you guys last week. So nice gap up. I think this is the one where it engulfed a couple of days of trading, which I said was nice. I wanted to see a push above 50. So we saw that push, came up to $50.43 and closed near its high. So on huge volume as well. So I'm looking for a continuation into the week. Maybe looking for what's this level over here? 51.5 continuation into the 51.5 level. On Verizon, and which do I have here? And Amazon here. This was probably the story of Friday. Huge gap up. Just a massive gap up on Friday. You can see here from 340, what did it open at? Opened at 334.71, made it to 346. So you can see there was $10 and change in there, which is a big move for Amazon. It's a volatile stock, but it broke this overhead resistance over here around the 342 area, with the next resistance sitting around the 360s. Yeah, but around the 363 to 365 area. Big volume coming in on Friday, so I like to see that as a confirmation of the breakout, a nice follow through. So we'll see a follow through if it's possible this week, coming into the 360 and then the 380s for Amazon. Last couple of charts here. BlackBerry, you can see here again, this was a pretty good week. We still made some gains on BlackBerry. Open up here at 1061. Nice push up into the 11s, past $11. Came back in here, nice pullback. Tested 10.5s, bought right back up, and then we created a high here at 1165. Another high, same high here, held at 1165, but we couldn't close above it. This was high volume, and if you zoom out here, I believe this candle, if you see one green candle here on the high, was 1165. So this is historic resistance over here at 1165. We can see that it hit once, couldn't break through, hit twice, couldn't close above. So the trend right now is still bullish, but this might be a sign of an early reversal. It couldn't break past the 1165, but it did hold the trend here. It didn't break below its low, so I'm still bullish on this. But we'll see into the next week if the 1165 level can be broken. If it is broken, we can expect to see a break into 1218, around 1218 area, and if that high is broken at 1218, then expect to see maybe a gap fill coming back into the 1350s over here. So it all depends on what we see in the week. If that 1165 area can be broken, then we might see a push to the 1218, and if that is broken, then we might see a push back over the gap into the 13.5s. Microsoft, we've got, you can see a small up channel coming into here. We've got, it's uptrending overall, but you can see here we've come into a nice little consolidation over the last couple of weeks. But we're still looking bullish on this. If I pop this out here, edit trend line. There we are. So we're still within the bullish trend line. You can see that price is kind of consolidating up here near the highs. We created a high last Thursday at 42.29, and this week we kind of stayed within a range, a nice tight range here. Thursday brought us down to support back at $41, which was bought right back up on volume, and Friday bounced us right back near the top of the range here. So might be looking for a continuation right into this 42.29 magnet now that we're back at the top of the range with some volume. So that's something to look for into the next week as well. A break over the 42.29 could mean some nice legs for Microsoft. Finally, Magic Jack, ticker CALL. You can see here, zooming out, we've been in a pretty significant downtrend since about March. So it's a strong downtrend over here. You can see that we had a nice bounce. We found some support here. Not that we found a bounce, but we found some support here around the 1330s. 13. What is our close here? 1320 open. 1319. So around the 1320, we found some support. Low of 1255 is where the low of Friday was. So that's our complete exit. That's the complete exit here. I want to see this. I like to see, after a nice downtrend, a big increase in volume on a doji. This is a nice candle here. Engulfs this pattern, engulfs this candle here, which is at the bottom of a downtrend. So I'd like to see it push into the $15 range. If it can break this trend here at the 1431s and break this 15 on a high volume, then we'll look for a nice continuation up. But until that, just let you know what to look for. Let it come to you. If it doesn't come, then move on and find there's always more opportunities in the market. So that's my overall weekly market rundown. I'm pretty busy this weekend, so I'll try to get a small written piece done for you guys as well with this video. But no promises. Germany game is about to start with Argentina, so I'll be on there. So take care, guys. Happy week of trading.